Have you ever felt that someone doesn't just dislike you, but wants to erase you from existence? Not just to see you fail, but to strip you of everything you have, everything you are, your reputation, your relationships, your very sense of self. They smile in your face, but behind your back, they sharpen their knives. History has witnessed this betrayal in its most brutal form. Julius Caesar, one of the greatest leaders in history, was not destroyed by an army of enemies. He was brought down by his own closest friend, Brutus, a man he trusted with his life. In one fatal moment, that trust was shattered, and Caesar's dying words, "Et tu, Brute," still haunt us today. But Brutus was never just a friend who turned against him. He was a silent architect of destruction, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And here's the terrifying truth. Your greatest enemy is never the one who openly despises you. It's the one who hides in the shadows, wearing the mask of loyalty. They don't attack you head-on. They infiltrate your life, manipulate your emotions, and quietly dismantle your world from the inside out. Today, we are diving deep into 5 deadly signs that someone isn't just against you, but is actively working to destroy you. And more importantly, you'll learn how to use Stoic wisdom to become untouchable. Because when you recognize the enemy early, you don't just survive, you rise above them. Stay with me. This could change everything. 1. They don't just envy you, they want you to fail. Some people don't just want to succeed, they want to see you fail. Their ambition isn't merely about climbing higher, but about ensuring that you never rise above them. This isn't ordinary jealousy. This is destruction disguised as competition, and the most dangerous part? They'll never admit it. They'll smile when you enter the room, congratulate you when you achieve something, and pretend they admire you, while secretly wishing for your downfall. You've felt it before, haven't you? That subtle discomfort when someone praises you, but their eyes say something else. That moment when you share good news, and the reaction feels just a little too forced. That unexplained hostility from a colleague who should have no reason to despise you. The truth is, your success reminds them of their failures. Your progress highlights their stagnation. Instead of improving themselves, they dedicate their energy to undermining you. And if you're not careful, they will succeed, not because they are better, but because you never realized what was happening until it was too late. History has seen this dynamic play out on the grandest stage. Winston Churchill, one of the most influential leaders of the 20th century, wasn't just battling Germany during World War II. He was also fighting a silent war within his own government. Many members of his cabinet despised him, not because he was incompetent, but because he was too competent. His unshakable resolve, his ability to inspire a nation in its darkest hour, made others feel inadequate. He was everything they wished they could be, and that made him a target. Some of his closest political allies sought to undermine him, working against him behind closed doors, hoping he would fail so they could regain control. This phenomenon is not uncommon. It manifests in workplaces, social circles, and even within families. Wherever people exist, envy follows. But what drives this toxic resentment? The Stoic philosopher Seneca, in his work on anger, De Ira, provided a profound insight. People do not hate you because you are bad. They hate you because you make them feel bad. The root of deep-seated jealousy is not about your actions or character. It is about the mirror you unknowingly hold up to others, forcing them to confront their own inadequacies. Your success reminds them of their failures. Your progress highlights their stagnation. And instead of improving themselves, they project their frustration onto you. The worst thing you can do? Engage with them. Defend yourself. Try to prove that you deserve your success. That's exactly what they want. They want you distracted, wasting your energy in pointless arguments, second-guessing yourself. Churchill didn't waste time fighting his critics. He focused on winning the war. He knew that the best way to silence his enemies wasn't through words, but through undeniable results. This is where the true power of Stoicism comes in. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to prove anything to those who secretly hope for your failure. You need only act. Let them watch. Let them gossip. Let them doubt you. In the end, when the dust settles, when the results are clear, they will have no choice but to acknowledge the truth. You were never their competition. You were their lesson. But let's take this further. What if you could use their hatred as fuel? Instead of letting their resentment drain you, what if it made you stronger? What if every whisper behind your back became a reason to work harder? This is the fire within. This is turning their envy into your power. It's the art of taking their negativity and transmuting it into energy. The more they hate, the more you build. The more they doubt, the more you refine your skills. The more they try to bring you down, the higher you rise, not out of revenge, but out of unstoppable progress. Now, ask yourself this: who in your life has tried to undermine you? Who has made subtle comments meant to plant doubt in your mind? Who has celebrated your failures more than your victories? You know their names. You remember their words. But now, instead of frustration, let it ignite something different within you. Let it push you to become so undeniably great that their resentment becomes irrelevant. And here's the real challenge. When they see you thriving, when they see that their efforts to tear you down have failed, they will try one last tactic. They will act like they have always supported you. They will pretend they believed in you all along. They will rewrite history. And in that moment, you will have the choice. Waste time exposing them or continue forward without a second glance. Because the truth is, they never mattered. They were never in your league. They were never your equals. And they knew it long before you did. Now it's your turn. Have you ever experienced this kind of silent sabotage? Have you realized it too late? Or did you catch it in time? Drop your experience in the comments below. I guarantee someone else has lived the exact same story. And if you truly want to master this, think about the person who has always resented your success. What will you do to ensure that their hatred fuels your growth rather than your downfall? 2. They don't attack you directly. They destroy you in the dark. Reputations aren't destroyed with a single blow. They are unraveled in silence, thread by thread, until nothing remains but doubt. The most dangerous enemies never confront you head-on. They don't need to. They let others do the work for them, turning whispers into weapons, suspicion into certainty, until you are no longer seen for who you are, but for the villain they've carefully crafted you to be. And if you could hear their thoughts, it would sound like this: why attack when I can make them crumble on their own? A well-placed pause, a knowing smirk, a casual, I don't know, something just feels off about them. That's all it takes. People don't need proof. They just need a reason to doubt. And once that seed is planted, I don't have to lift a finger. They'll do the rest themselves. They'll start watching, over-analyzing, piecing together evidence that doesn't exist. Every word my target speaks will be twisted, every action misinterpreted. And when they finally realize what's happening, it will be too late. Their defense will sound like desperation. Their innocence will look like guilt. And me, I'll be nowhere to be found. This is how reputations die, not by direct attack, but by erosion. The greatest deceivers don't argue, they don't accuse, they merely suggest and let doubt do the rest. You won't even realize it's happening at first. Conversations feel different. Eyes linger on you a little too long, not with admiration, but with quiet judgment. A subtle distance grows between you and those who once stood by your side. You hear your own name in the murmur of conversations that end when you enter the room. This is how reputations are assassinated, not with daggers, but with words sharpened in the dark. History has seen this form of silent execution time and time again. Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, didn't fall by the sword of an enemy, but by the poison of rumors. He was not executed for committing a crime, but because powerful individuals convinced the masses that he was corrupting the youth. He was made into a villain not through evidence, but through public perception, meticulously distorted by those who feared his influence. The accusations were baseless, but it didn't matter, because when enough people believe a lie, it becomes truth. This is the terrifying power of deception. It doesn't need to be true, it only needs to be repeated. A lie, when told often enough, becomes indistinguishable from reality. And the worst part? The more you fight against it, the deeper you sink. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, understood this psychological trap centuries ago. He once said, "If someone speaks ill of you, do not make excuses, but answer, 'He must not know the rest of my faults, else he would not have mentioned only these.'" Discourses, Book 1, Chapter 29. This is the essence of power, the refusal to engage in a meaningless battle over perception. If you scramble to defend yourself, you validate the lie. If you react with anger, you confirm suspicion. But if you remain unmoved, you rob your enemies of their most valuable weapon, your reaction. This is where true mastery begins. Look at Elon Musk. Few individuals in modern history have been more relentlessly attacked in the media. He has been labeled reckless, arrogant, and irresponsible. Every venture he undertakes is scrutinized, every misstep amplified. Yet Musk does not spend his time waging war with the press. He does not argue. He does not beg for approval. Instead, he lets results speak louder than words. While others waste energy debating, he builds. While they speculate, he innovates. While they write articles, he launches rockets. That is the strategy of true power. Silence your critics by making their words irrelevant. Do not chase after false narratives, outgrow them. Do not demand justice, demonstrate it through action. Do not fight for your reputation. Make it untouchable by succeeding beyond their reach. This is the philosophy of the unbreakable. It is the difference between those who are consumed by gossip and those who rise so high that gossip can no longer touch them. It is the art of being so focused on your mission that the noise fades into irrelevance. But let's take this further. Imagine that tomorrow a rumor about you spreads. It's false, of course, but it spreads fast, faster than truth ever could. People begin to doubt you. Your name is whispered in judgment. Your credibility is questioned. Now you have two choices. You could fight it. You could go around pleading your innocence, trying to convince people one by one that they've been deceived. But by doing so, you acknowledge the lie. You breathe life into it. You make it real. Or you could let it burn itself out. You could say nothing, do nothing, remain steadfast in your truth, while the lie collapses under the weight of its own emptiness. Which one do you think makes you stronger? This is the test. This is where power is truly defined. not in how well you can defend yourself, but in how little you need to. Now here's a challenge for you. Have you ever seen someone spread a lie about another person? Have you ever watched false rumors grow into accepted truths? If so, then you should already know the answer. It has happened to you too, whether you know it or not. And if it hasn't yet, it will. The question is, when that moment comes, will you fall into the trap of defending yourself, or will you rise above it and let time expose the lie for what it is? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If someone were to spread a damaging rumor about you tomorrow, how would you handle it? Would you fight, or would you let your silence become your greatest weapon? 3. They don't attack you. They isolate you until you are alone. Enemies who seek to destroy you rarely strike with force. Instead, they use manipulation as their weapon and isolation as their battlefield. They don't need to push you down. They simply pull everyone else away from you. They plant doubt in the minds of those closest to you, twist narratives, exploit insecurities, and before you even realize it, you find yourself standing alone, wondering how you lost the people who once stood by your side. At first, the changes are subtle. A friend who used to check in often becomes distant. A colleague who once had your back in meetings suddenly seems indifferent. Conversations feel different, shorter, colder. You sense a shift, but you can't quite put your finger on why. That's the genius of this tactic. It makes you doubt yourself. Did I do something wrong? Did I change? Or has someone been changing the way others see me? This kind of manipulation is not new. History has seen it unfold time and time again. Leonardo da Vinci, one of the greatest minds of the Renaissance, nearly had his future stolen from him, not by an external enemy, but by the very people who once supported him. As a young apprentice, Leonardo showed exceptional talent, surpassing even his mentor, Andrea del Verrocchio. But talent breeds envy. His rising brilliance became a threat to those who wanted to remain in control, and whispers began to spread, whispers designed to push him into the shadows. His commissions started drying up. Patrons who once admired his work turned their attention elsewhere. He found himself surrounded by a wall of silence, deliberately built to keep him out. For many, this would have been the end. Isolation is a weapon that breaks most people, forcing them to shrink, to second-guess, to fade into irrelevance. But Leonardo understood something most don't. Being abandoned is not always a curse. It is often a cleansing. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, captured this truth in a single line. Those who leave you are not a loss, they are a purification. Letters to Lucilius. Not everyone who walks away is a betrayal. Sometimes it is the universe's way of removing those who were never meant to stand beside you in the first place. Leonardo da Vinci did not waste time mourning the loss of those who had turned against him. He did not seek their approval or try to reclaim their favor. Instead, he left them behind, and in doing so, he unlocked a destiny far greater than any of them could have imagined. When Florence closed its doors to him, he found new opportunities in Milan. There, free from the politics and envy that had sought to suffocate him, he flourished. Under the patronage of Ludovico Sforza, he created some of the most legendary works in human history, including The Last Supper, a masterpiece that would endure for centuries. His innovations extended beyond painting. His notebooks became a testament to a mind far ahead of its time, filled with designs for flying machines, anatomical studies, and military inventions. The very people who had once sought to diminish him were forced to watch as he became untouchable. Those who had whispered against him, who had worked to erase his influence, found themselves forgotten by history, while his name became eternal. This is the lesson. Greatness is never dependent on those who refuse to see it. Had Leonardo remained in Florence, trying to prove himself to those who had already chosen to reject him, the world might never have known the full extent of his genius. But by walking away, by refusing to fight for a place among those who doubted him, he ensured that his name would not just survive, but dominate the annals of history. So ask yourself this: who are you holding on to that is keeping you small? Who have you been trying to convince when in reality you should be moving past them? Because like Leonardo, your destiny does not lie in chasing those who have turned away. It lies in becoming so undeniable that they are left with only one choice: watching from a distance as you rise beyond their reach. This is the power of the untouchable circle, a concept not of exclusion, but of precision. You do not need many people around you. You only need the right ones, the ones who are loyal in silence, not just in celebration, the ones who believe in you without needing to be convinced, the ones who do not allow the whispers of others to dictate their trust in you. And here is the hard truth: anyone who can be turned against you was never truly with you. A real friend, a real ally, does not abandon you over rumors. They seek the truth. They stand firm. And those who walk away, let them go. Their departure is not a loss. It is an unburdening. The mistake most people make is chasing after those who have already chosen to believe the worst about them. They waste time trying to rebuild burned bridges when they should be laying foundations for something greater. They try to change minds that were never on their side to begin with. That is where true strength is revealed, not in fighting for those who have turned away, but in standing tall without them. Let them leave, let them doubt. Your success will do the talking. But let's take this further. What if you could turn their attempt to isolate you into your greatest advantage? What if, instead of seeing loneliness as weakness, you used it to sharpen your focus, refine your purpose, and build a foundation so unshakable that no rumor, no manipulation, no betrayal could ever touch it again? Think about the people who have drifted from your life. Did they leave, or were they led away? Did they distance themselves, or were they pushed? And most importantly, do you truly need them, or have you been holding on to ghosts? Here's your challenge. Look at the people in your life right now. Ask yourself, who has remained steady, unwavering, unshaken by outside influence? Who has disappeared, only to resurface when it benefits them? Who do you chase after, and who chases after you? If someone is easily swayed, let them go. If someone can be turned against you, let them turn. Because in the end, it is not your job to hold on to people who were never truly with you. It is your job to build, to create, to thrive, so that when they look back, they realize the greatest mistake they ever made was believing they could walk away from you without consequence. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt someone slipping away and wondered if they were being influenced? Did you chase after them, or did you stand firm? And more importantly, will you allow this to happen again, or will you start choosing who is worthy of standing in your circle? 4. They don't fight you. They control you through your own emotions. Not all enemies seek to destroy you with force. Some don't need to. They make you destroy yourself. They know that the easiest way to bring you down is not through direct attack, but through manipulation of your emotions. They push the right buttons, provoke the right reactions, and then use your own response against you. They don't overpower you. They make you lose control, and in doing so, they win without lifting a finger. This kind of manipulation isn't just something we see in history books. It is everywhere in modern society. In workplaces, in friendships, in relationships, and especially online. Have you ever noticed how certain people thrive on chaos? They provoke arguments, spread negativity, and wait for others to explode. Social media is filled with these people, those who deliberately bait others into outrage, knowing that emotional reactions drive engagement. How many times have you seen someone lose their career, their reputation, or their credibility because they let their emotions take over in a moment of frustration? One reckless email, one heated argument, one angry response in a public setting, and suddenly they've lost control of the narrative. But here's the truth. Their downfall didn't start when they got angry. It started the moment they let someone else dictate their emotions. This is a strategy as old as time. Napoleon Bonaparte, a man known for his strategic brilliance, was not defeated in battle because he lacked skill. He was defeated because his enemies learned how to provoke him. The British and their allies didn't just fight Napoleon on the battlefield. They manipulated him into making reckless decisions. They knew his pride was his weakness. They knew that if they insulted him, dismissed him, and made him feel like he had something to prove, he would overextend himself in retaliation. And he did. His obsession with proving his dominance led him to make costly mistakes, pushing his army beyond its limits and ultimately leading to his downfall. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, understood this psychological warfare better than anyone. He wrote, "The strongest person is not the one who wins every battle, but the one who refuses to be drawn into battles that do not matter." Meditations, Book 4. True strength is not about conquering every opponent. It is about choosing your battles wisely, refusing to react when reaction is what they want from you. But few people have mastered this skill. Most walk straight into the trap. They hear an insult and they defend themselves. They sense disrespect and they demand recognition. They feel attacked and they attack back, never realizing that this is exactly what their enemies wanted all along. Look at Theodore Roosevelt, a man who faced relentless opposition. Political rivals insulted him, journalists slandered him, and powerful figures tried to provoke him into outbursts that would ruin his reputation. But Roosevelt understood something Napoleon did not. When you control your emotions, you control the game. He never reacted impulsively. When he was mocked, he laughed. When he was underestimated, he worked harder. When others tried to bait him into a fight, he refused to engage. And in doing so, he made them powerless against him. Their words became meaningless, their insults ineffective. No matter how hard they tried, they could not make him lose control, and because of that, he remained untouchable. This is the art of the unshakable stance, the ability to remain calm in the face of provocation, to see manipulation for what it is, and to never let someone else dictate your reactions. Because the moment you let someone control your emotions, you hand them the keys to your mind. And in today's world, this skill is more important than ever. Every day, people are provoked into reacting, whether it's a coworker trying to undermine you, an online troll looking for a fight, or a manipulative friend stirring drama behind the scenes. In modern society, outrage is currency. Entire industries profit off keeping you angry, reactive, and emotionally unstable. Think about it. Why do social media platforms prioritize controversy? Why do political figures use fear to manipulate the masses? Why do some people seem to live for drama, always stirring conflict wherever they go? Because emotion is power, and the moment you let someone dictate your emotions, you become their puppet. So how do you break free? How do you ensure that no one, not a rival, not a manipulator, not even an algorithm, can control your mind? First, recognize the bait. Ask yourself, is this argument worth my energy? Or am I being lured into a fight that benefits someone else? The moment you pause to ask that question, you disrupt their plan. Second, master the art of non-reaction. The strongest person in the room is the one who does not flinch, does not engage, does not allow their emotions to be hijacked. Imagine how powerful you become when nothing and no one can shake you. Third, redirect your energy into action. Instead of fighting meaningless battles, build. While others argue, focus on your craft. While others seek attention, seek excellence. While others waste time proving themselves, let results speak for you. This is how you win. Not by overpowering them, not by proving them wrong, but by denying them access to your emotions. Because when they can no longer control you, they have nothing left. And when that happens, they don't defeat you, they fear you. So here's your challenge. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, pause. Ask yourself, do I need to react, or is this just a trap? Am I about to make a move because I want to, or because they are making me feel like I have to? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever realized, too late, that someone was manipulating you into reacting? What would you do differently now that you know the game? 5. They don't want you to fail. They want you to suffer. Not everyone envies your success. Not everyone wants to see you fail. Some people don't care whether you win or lose. They just want to see you in pain. These people are not your rivals. They are not competing with you. Their only satisfaction comes from your suffering. Unlike jealousy, which is rooted in comparison, this type of malice is far more dangerous. They do not want what you have. They only want to take away what makes you happy. If you lose everything but remain at peace, they have failed. But if you have everything yet are miserable, they have won. And if you could hear their thoughts, it would sound something like this. I don't care if they succeed. I don't even care if they fail. What matters is that they never feel secure, never feel truly happy. If they're celebrating, I'll remind them of their past mistakes. If they're at peace, I'll introduce chaos. I won't attack them outright. That's too obvious. I'll disguise my poison as concern. I'll smile as I plant doubt. And when they start questioning their own happiness, when they feel guilty for feeling good, that's when I know I've won. This is not just a personal battle. It is a reflection of the world we live in. Look around. Modern society is built to feed on doubt, fear, and dissatisfaction. Happiness is constantly under attack, on social media, in workplaces, even within families. Social media thrives on negativity. Bad news spreads faster than good. If someone shares an accomplishment, the first responses are often disguised as encouragement, but laced with doubt. That's great, but don't get too comfortable. Let's see if you can keep this up. I heard someone else tried this and failed. It happens in friendships too. Ever notice how some people love to be around you when you're struggling but disappear when you're happy? Some friendships are built on shared misery, and when you start rising above it, they either pull you back down or walk away. It happens in workplaces. Some colleagues aren't threatened by your success. They are threatened by your joy. They don't need your promotion. They just need you to doubt yourself when you get it. Even in families, this poison spreads. Some relatives, instead of celebrating your happiness, remind you of your failures, highlight risks, or cast shadows over your joy. They want to be needed. And when you no longer need their emotional validation, they resent you for it. This is exactly what Abraham Lincoln endured. Lincoln was not just opposed, he was relentlessly attacked. His enemies didn't just criticize his policies, they mocked his appearance, questioned his intelligence, and spread vicious lies. Political figures, newspapers, even former allies joined in, doing everything they could to break him down, not just politically, but emotionally. But Lincoln never responded to their insults. He never engaged in their game. He understood something most people don't. When you react to malice, you validate it. Instead of defending himself, he focused on what truly mattered. He kept working. He kept moving forward. And in the end, those who spent their time trying to destroy him were forgotten, while he became a legend. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, understood this mindset well. He once said, "Happiness does not depend on circumstances, but on how you perceive those circumstances." Discourses, Book 1, Chapter 6. True happiness is not something others can take from you. It is something you must refuse to surrender. And this is where true power lies. They want you to suffer? Be happier than ever. They want to see you break? Stand taller than before. They want to steal your joy? Make your joy untouchable. This is the art of invincible happiness, not the fragile happiness that depends on validation, but the kind that remains unshaken, no matter what they say, no matter what they do. Because here's the truth, the best revenge is not proving them wrong. It's proving that they never had any power over you to begin with. So how do you protect yourself from these people? How do you ensure that no one, not a friend, not a co-worker, not even a family member, can take away your peace? First, identify them. These people often disguise themselves well. They might seem like friends, but their words always leave you doubting yourself. They might seem supportive, but when you're happy, they find a way to cast a shadow. Second, set boundaries. You do not owe anyone access to your emotions. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. If someone consistently drains your energy, makes you feel guilty for your joy, or undermines your happiness, distance yourself. Third, master the power of non-reaction. When they try to steal your happiness, do not explain, do not defend, do not fight back. Simply keep living, keep thriving, keep moving forward. Because nothing frustrates them more than knowing that no matter what they do, you will still be happy. Now here's your challenge. Think about the people in your life. Have you ever noticed someone who only seems to be around when you're struggling, but disappears or turns cold when you're happy? Have you ever had to cut someone out of your life, not because they openly attacked you, but because they could not stand to see you happy? If so, how did it feel? Was it difficult? Or was it the most freeing decision you ever made? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever encountered someone like this? And more importantly, how will you respond now that you see them for who they truly are? You now recognize the signs, the subtle manipulation, the silent sabotage, the hidden malice. You understand how some people don't just dislike you, they want to see you fall, suffer, and question everything you are, and you've learned the Stoic way to rise above it all. But here's the twist. What if the greatest threat to your success, your happiness, your peace of mind, is not someone else? What if it's you? Think about it. Have you ever delayed chasing your dreams because you feared failure? Have you ever held yourself back, convincing yourself you're not good enough? Have you ever let doubt, insecurity, or past mistakes control your present? The truth is, the most dangerous enemy isn't always external. Sometimes it's the voice in your own head, the one that whispers, "You can't do this," the one that reminds you of every past failure, the one that keeps you small, afraid, and stuck in the same place. But today, that ends. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Discourses, Book 2, Chapter 1. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against those who try to destroy you. It is against the version of yourself that allows them to win. So, if you're ready to reclaim your power, if you refuse to let anyone, including yourself, hold you back, then take action right now. Drop a comment. "I will not destroy myself," if you commit to becoming the strongest version of you. Hit like if this message resonated with you. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to master the art of Stoic resilience, subscribe for more life-changing insights. Because in the end, it's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were always meant for more. Stay strong, stay wise, and I'll see you in the next video.